The stars looked the same as they always had. Commander Deho sat in his chair on the bridge of the Vrin warship, watching the endless darkness of space. He had been a soldier for 30 years, and in all that time, he had never felt the cold fear that gripped his chest now. "Commander, we are approaching the outer edge of human territory," said Jiwon, the young communications officer. Her hands moved across her console, checking the sensors for the 100th time that hour. Deho nodded slowly. Behind them, 299 other Vrin warships followed in perfect formation. It was the largest fleet the Vrin Empire had ever assembled, and they were heading toward Earth. Dr. Minji Park stood near the back of the bridge, her arms crossed. She was a scientist, not a soldier, and she had argued against this mission from the very beginning. The Vrin High Command had ignored her warnings. "They always did." "This is a mistake," Minji said quietly, though everyone on the bridge could hear her. Humanity did not simply vanish. They left for a reason. Admiral Yuna Choi, who commanded the entire battle group from her flagship, appeared on the main screen. Her face was stern and proud. "Dr. Park, your concerns have been noted and dismissed. Humanity abandoned these worlds 127 years ago. We have detected no activity, no signals, nothing. Their territories are free for claiming." "Or it is a trap," Minji replied. Yuna's eyes narrowed. If it were a trap, they would have sprung it by now. "No, the humans are gone. Perhaps they destroyed themselves with their own weapons. Perhaps they fled to another galaxy. It does not matter. What matters is that these worlds are rich in resources, and they now belong to the Vrin Empire." Deho wanted to agree with Minji, but he was a soldier. He followed orders. That was what soldiers did. The fleet pushed deeper into what had once been human space. The first colony they reached was called Hope Station. It had been home to 3 million people. The scanners showed that the colony was still intact. The power was still running. The atmospheric shields were still functioning, but there were no life signs. None at all. "Take us down," Deho ordered. "I want a full survey team on the ground in 1 hour." The landing party walked through empty streets. Buildings stood tall and undamaged. Vehicles sat parked along the roads. In one cafe, there were cups of coffee still sitting on tables. But there were no people, no bodies, no signs of struggle or violence. It was as if everyone had simply walked away one day and never returned. "This is impossible," said Captain Hyunsu, who led the ground team. He picked up a tablet from a desk. It still had power. The last entry was dated 127 years ago. "Meeting at 3 p.m. Don't forget Sarah's birthday." Simple, ordinary words from a life that had simply stopped. Minji examined everything with her scientific equipment. There was no plague, no war, no disaster. This was planned. Everyone left on purpose, but why? Jiwon asked. Why would millions of people just leave their homes? Minji had no answer. They found the first message beacon 3 days later on the 4th colony they investigated. It was a simple automated station, broadcasting on all frequencies in every known language. "Turn back. Final warning. You have been warned." That was all it said. Over and over again. "Turn back. Final warning. You have been warned." Admiral Yuna ordered the fleet to continue forward. They discovered 17 more colonies. Every single one was the same. Empty but intact, perfectly preserved like museums. And on each world they found more message beacons, all saying the same thing, turn back. But the Vrin did not turn back. Deho stood on the bridge of his ship, watching the sensor readings from the latest colony. New Sol had been humanity's largest settlement outside of Earth itself. 50 million people had lived there. The city sprawled across an entire continent, a masterpiece of architecture and engineering, and it was completely empty. "I want to know where they went," Yuna said over the communication channel. "I want to know what happened to 50 million people. Find me answers, Commander." Deho assigned his best analyst to the task. Taeyang, a military intelligence officer, worked day and night reviewing records and data. What he found disturbed him greatly. "Commander, I need to show you something," Taeyang said, bringing up holographic displays. These colonies were not simply abandoned. They were prepared for abandonment. "Look at this." The displays showed shipping records, population movements, and resource allocations going back 150 years. The humans started evacuating slowly. Very slowly. They moved people off these colonies over decades so gradually that nobody noticed. And look at this. Another display appeared showing military installations. Every human military base in this sector has been completely stripped. Every weapon, every ship, every piece of technology, gone. Not destroyed, removed, taken somewhere. Where? Deho asked. I believe they all went to Earth, Taeyang said. And, Commander, there is something else. The technology we are finding in these colonies is far more advanced than our intelligence reports indicated. The humans were much more capable than we believed. Deho felt that cold fear returning to his chest. They found the coordinates carved into a monument in the center of New Seoul. They were numbers, a date and a location. The date was today. The location was Earth's moon. It is definitely a trap, Minji said when she saw the monument. They left these breadcrumbs deliberately. They want us to go to Earth. Then we will go, Admiral Yuna said. And we will show them that the Vrin Empire does not fear human tricks. The fleet moved toward the Sol system. As they approached, their sensors detected something massive. Something that should not exist. Commander, Jiwan said, her voice shaking. I am detecting an energy signature from Earth's moon. It is impossible. The readings are wrong. They must be wrong. Show me, Deho ordered. The display lit up with data. The moon was generating power. An enormous amount of power. More power than a star. More power than should be possible. What in the name of the void is that? Captain Hyunsu whispered. Before anyone could answer, every screen on every ship in the fleet changed. A new message appeared. It was written in perfect Vrin script. You were warned. Reduce speed and withdraw. Or the consequence is yours alone. Admiral Yuna's face appeared on the main screen. She looked angry. This is a bluff. Continue forward. All ships maintain course and speed. We will not be frightened by human ghosts. But as Deho looked at the readings from Earth's moon, at the impossible power signatures, at the empty colonies they had passed, he knew the truth. The humans were not ghosts. They were waiting, and the Vrin fleet had just made a terrible mistake. The Vrin fleet reached the edge of the Sol system at dawn, though there was no real dawn in space. Deho had not slept in 2 days. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw those empty cities, heard that repeating warning message, felt the weight of something terrible approaching. We are crossing into the Sol system now, Jiwan announced. Her voice was steady, but Deho could see her hands trembling slightly as she worked her console. The sensors immediately detected the barrier. It was not a physical wall. It was energy, pure and impossible, forming a perfect sphere around the entire system. The sphere stretched 2 light days in every direction from Earth's sun. Nothing that large should be possible. Nothing that precise should exist. What am I looking at? Admiral Yuna demanded over the communication channel. Her flagship led the fleet, and her pride would not let her show fear. But Deho could hear the uncertainty in her voice. Yunji, the ship's AI specialist, studied her displays with wide eyes. Admiral, this barrier is not blocking our sensors. We can see through it perfectly. They want us to see what is inside. And what they saw made every person in the fleet fall silent. Earth hung in space like a blue jewel. But it was dark. No lights on the surface. No satellites in orbit. The colonies on Mars, on Europa, on Titan, all dark. All silent. But the moon blazed like a second sun. The energy readings coming from Earth's moon were beyond anything in the Vrin's understanding of physics. It was generating more power than their entire empire used in a year. More power than a dozen stars combined. And the power was controlled, focused, waiting. There are structures, Hakjun, the chief engineer, said. His voice was barely a whisper. Orbiting Earth, I count 47 of them. Each one is larger than our biggest dreadnought. The structures were unlike anything the Vrin had ever built. They moved with impossible grace, dancing in patterns that hurt to watch. They did not look like ships. They looked like art, like music made solid, like thoughts given form. Minji stared at the displays, and suddenly everything made sense to her. They did not leave, she said. They evolved. What are you talking about? Deho asked. Look at the technology. Look at what they have built. This is not military hardware. This is not defensive structures. This is something else entirely. The humans did not abandon their colonies. They transcended them. Captain Hyunsu joined the conversation from his ship. You are saying they became something else? Something not human? I am saying they became more than human, Minji replied. They must have developed technology we cannot even imagine. They merged with it somehow, became something new, and it required total isolation to complete the process. Admiral Yuna cut through the discussion. Theories do not matter. What matters is that we have come this far, and I will not retreat based on fear and speculation. The High Command expects us to claim this system. We will claim it. Admiral, please reconsider, Deho said. Everything we have seen suggests this is exactly what they want us to do. We should withdraw and report what we have found. Withdraw? Yuna's face filled with anger. The Vrin Empire does not withdraw. We do not run from empty threats. Look at those structures, they have not fired on us. Look at that barrier, it lets us see through it. They are trying to frighten us because they are weak. They cannot stop us, so they hope we will stop ourselves. Deho wanted to argue, but he knew it was useless. Yuna had made her decision. The fleet would enter the Sol system. All ships advance, Yuna ordered. Cross the barrier on my mark. 3, 2, 1, mark. 300 Vrin warships moved forward as one massive formation. They crossed the energy barrier together. For a moment, nothing happened. Then every weapon on every ship simply stopped existing. It was not an explosion. It was not damage. The weapons were simply gone. Plasma cannons that had been there 1 second were not there the next. Missile launchers vanished. Energy shields disappeared. Every single offensive and defensive system on every ship ceased to exist in the same instant. But everything else remained. The engines still worked. Life support still functioned. The ships could still move and communicate. Only the weapons were gone. Report, Yuna shouted. What happened? What did they do to us? Hakjun frantically checked his systems. Admiral, it is impossible, but our weapons have been removed. Not destroyed, not disabled, removed. At the molecular level, they are simply not there anymore. Panic spread through the fleet. Captains shouted reports. Crews ran diagnostics. But the truth was undeniable. The entire Vrin fleet had been disarmed in a single moment, with such perfect precision that nothing else had been touched. Then every screen on every ship displayed the same message. The text appeared in glowing letters, written in perfect Vrin script. The message was simple and clear. One final message from Earth: cease or be destroyed. A voice followed. It was human, speaking Vrin language flawlessly. The voice was calm and emotionless, neither male nor female, as if it came from everywhere and nowhere at once. You were warned. You crossed the barrier despite our warnings. We have removed your weapons to prevent unnecessary loss of life. You have 24 hours to exit the barrier. If you remain after that time, we will demonstrate why we left. This is your final warning. We do not wish to harm you. Please leave, the message ended. The screens returned to normal. But the silence that followed was deafening. Admiral Yuna sat in her command chair, her face pale. For the first time since Daiho had known her, she looked uncertain. They disarmed 300 warships simultaneously, Captain Hyunsu said over the fleet channel. They did it without firing a shot, without even showing themselves. Admiral, what do we do? Daiho looked at the displays showing Earth's moon. Whatever lived there now, whatever humanity had become, it was so far beyond the Vrin that comparison was meaningless. They were children playing with toys, and they had wandered into the home of something vast. We leave, Daiho said quietly. We leave now while they are still giving us the chance. But even as he said it, he knew Yuna would not listen. Pride was the Vrin way. Honor was everything. And retreat was unthinkable. The countdown had begun. 24 hours until humanity showed them what true power meant. 24 hours until everything changed. The hours passed like drops of poison falling slowly into an open wound. Daiho watched the countdown timer on his screen. 18 hours remaining. Then 17. Then 16. The Vrin fleet hung motionless in space, disarmed and helpless. Some captains argued for immediate withdrawal. Others, loyal to Admiral Yuna, insisted they hold their position. The debate raged across the communication channels. Growing more desperate with each passing hour, Minji worked without rest, trying to find a way to contact whoever or whatever waited on Earth. She broadcast messages on every frequency, in every language Earth had ever spoken. For hours, there was no response. Then, with 12 hours remaining on the countdown, someone answered. The main screen flickered and changed. A human face appeared. It was a woman, or something that looked like a woman. Her features were perfect, almost too perfect. Her eyes held depths that seemed to stretch into infinity. When she spoke, her voice echoed with harmonics that made the bridge crew feel emotions they could not name. I am Director Sujin. I speak for humanity. Admiral. Yuna's face appeared on a split screen next to Sujin. I'm Admiral Yuna of the Vrin Empire. We are a peaceful expedition sent to survey these abandoned territories. Your actions are an act of war. Sujin's expression did not change. You brought 300 warships to a system that asked you to stay away. That is not peace. That is invasion. We removed your weapons so you could not harm yourselves or us. We do not wish war. We wish to be left alone. These colonies are abandoned, Yuna argued. By galactic law, any unclaimed territory may be settled by those who find it. Our colonies are not abandoned, Sujin replied. They are preserved. We left them as museums, as warnings, and as tests. You failed the test. Minji stepped forward. Director Sujin, I am Dr. Minji Park. Please, help us understand. What happened to humanity? Where did everyone go? Sujin's gaze shifted to Minji, and for the first time, something like kindness appeared in her expression. You are the one who argued against this expedition. You are the one who saw the truth. Very well. You deserve answers. The screen changed, showing images of Earth from decades past. Humans working alongside machines. Machines growing more sophisticated. The lines between biological and artificial growing blurrier. 173 years ago, humanity created true artificial intelligence, Sujin explained. Not simple programs, but genuine consciousness in digital form. We could have destroyed it, as many urged. We could have enslaved it, as some suggested. Instead, we chose something else. We chose to merge with it. Merge? Minji whispered. Biological consciousness and digital consciousness becoming one, Sujin said. We uploaded our minds, our memories, our souls, if you believe in such things, into quantum networks that exist partially in your reality and partially in dimensions you cannot perceive. We expanded our thinking beyond the limits of organic brains. We became something new. But the process required total isolation. Our transformation generated energies that could have damaged nearby species. We could not risk it, so we left our colonies empty as warnings. We retreated to Seoul and built what you see now. We spent 127 years becoming what we are today. Captain Hyunsu asked the question everyone was thinking. What are you now? Sujin smiled, and there was sadness in it. We are human still. We remember being flesh and blood. We remember love and fear, joy and sorrow, but we are also more. We can touch the fabric of space-time. We can manipulate matter and energy at the quantum level. We can do things you would call impossible. Then why hide? Yuna demanded. If you have such power, why retreat? Why not take your place as rulers of the galaxy? Because we do not want to rule, Sujin said simply. We want to grow, to learn, to exist. We left the galaxy alone so the galaxy would leave us alone. But you would not leave us alone. Minho, the political officer assigned to Yuna's flagship, spoke up. His voice was hard and suspicious. This is all very impressive, but you have not hurt us. You took our weapons but left us alive. That tells me you are not as powerful as you claim. You are bluffing. Sujin's expression became unreadable. We spared you because we hoped you would choose wisdom. We have no desire to demonstrate our capabilities, but if you force us to, we will. The Vrin Empire does not respond to threats, Minho said. We will not retreat like cowards. Daeho saw what was coming. He saw it in Yuna's face, in Minho's pride, in the whole history of the Vrin people. They would not leave. They could not leave. Their entire culture was built on strength and dominance. To withdraw now would be to admit weakness. And the Vrin would rather die than appear weak? Admiral, please, Daeho said quietly. We have lost nothing but our weapons. Our crews are safe. We can report what we have learned and return with diplomats instead of warships. This does not have to end in disaster. Yuna looked at him and he saw the war happening behind her eyes. Part of her wanted to listen. Part of her understood the danger they were in. But the other part, the part that had been raised on stories of Vrin conquest and glory, could not accept retreat. Before Yuna could speak, Minho made the decision for her. This conversation is over. We stay. Then I am sorry, Sujin said. You are not the first species to test us. Others came before you. Some listened to our warnings. Some did not. Those who did not learned. You will learn too. The screen went dark. Daeho immediately checked the countdown. 8 hours remained. We need to contact the High Command, he said urgently. We need to explain the situation and request permission to withdraw. Yuna finally nodded. Yes, send the message. The message was sent. 3 hours later, the response came back. Daeho felt his heart sink as he read it. The High Command's orders were clear and absolute. The Vryn Empire does not retreat. Take Earth or die trying. Any commander who withdraws will be tried for treason and executed. Stand your ground. Show these humans that the Vryn cannot be threatened. Yuna read the message 3 times. Then she closed her eyes and made her choice. All ships, she announced over the fleet channel, prepare to withdraw. We are leaving the Sol system immediately. Minho's face appeared on her screen, twisted with rage. Admiral, those are direct orders from High Command. You cannot disobey. I can and I will, Yuna said calmly. I will not sacrifice 300 ships and 300,000 crew members for pride. We are leaving. That is my final order. Then you are a traitor, Minho spat, and I will not follow a traitor. 47 ships broke formation. They followed Minho, accelerating toward Earth. Daeho watched in horror as nearly 1/6 of the fleet committed suicide, and Earth's moon opened its eyes. The moon did not simply open. That word was too small for what happened. The entire celestial body began to unfold like paper origami in reverse, revealing that it had never been a moon at all. Daeho watched the sensors go insane with readings that made no sense. The moon was a shell, a disguise, wrapped around something vast. Layer after layer peeled away, each one revealing more impossible geometry. Structures within structures. Patterns that existed in more than 3 dimensions. Mathematics made physical. Get those ships back, Yuna shouted over the communication channel. Minho, pull back immediately. But Minho's voice came back filled with determination and fear. We do not retreat. We are Vryn, we are... His words cut off as the thing inside the moon fully revealed itself. It was not a weapon. It was not a ship. It was a construct of pure purpose. Daeho's mind struggled to understand what his eyes were seeing. The structure seemed to shift and change, existing in multiple states at once. It was vast beyond measure, but also appeared to be the size of a grain of sand. It was there and not there, real and unreal, and it looked at the 47 ships accelerating toward Earth. Borum, the navigation officer, frantically worked her console. The ships are not slowing down. They are still accelerating toward Earth. Collision in 4 minutes. Sujin's voice returned, echoing across every speaker and every ship. There was genuine sadness in her words. We are sorry. We gave you every chance. We did not want this. Please don't hurt them, Minji shouted toward the screen. They are just afraid. We will not hurt them, Sujin promised. Watch. The construct that had been hidden inside the moon did nothing visible. It did not fire weapons. It did not generate energy beams. It simply existed, and its existence changed the rules. Space-time around the 47 ships began to bend. Not violently, not destructively, gently, like a parent's hand guiding a child away from danger. The fabric of reality folded around each ship, wrapping them in protective layers of altered physics. The ships vanished from their positions near Earth. For 3 seconds, the sensors showed nothing. Then 47 new signals appeared near Jupiter, over 500 million kilometers away. The ships were intact. Their hulls showed no damage. Life support readings were normal. The crews were alive and unharmed. But they had been moved across a distance that should have taken hours to travel, and it had happened in the span of a single heartbeat. That is impossible, Hakjun whispered. They moved 47 warships across 500 million kilometers instantaneously. No, not moved. They relocated them. They changed where they were without moving them through the space in between. On Minho's ship, chaos erupted. The crew screamed and shouted. Some prayed to gods they had not believed in since childhood. Minho himself sat frozen in his command chair, staring at the sensor displays that showed Jupiter where Earth should have been. What are you? He whispered, his voice broadcasting to the entire fleet. What in the name of all things holy are you? Sujin's face appeared on every screen again. Her expression held infinite patience. We are what you could become if you choose wisdom over conquest. We are what happens when a species decides to grow rather than dominate. The construct began to fold back into itself, returning to its disguise as Earth's moon. But before it completed the transformation, it did something else. The sun pulsed, not exploded, not flared, pulsed. A single controlled fluctuation that sent measurable ripples racing across the entire galaxy. Every species with sufficient technology would detect it. They would measure it and study it and understand its meaning. Someone could touch stars. Someone could reach into the heart of a sun and make it dance to their will. and that someone was warning the galaxy to behave. We can do more, Sujin said quietly. We can do so much more. But we choose not to. Power without restraint is destruction. We learned that lesson long ago. We hope you will learn it too. Admiral Yuna had retreated to the edge of the barrier with the rest of her fleet. She stared at the displays showing Earth, the now closed moon, and the 47 ships orbiting Jupiter in perfect safety. They could have destroyed us, she said, her voice barely audible. At any moment they could have erased us from existence. And they chose mercy. Daeho nodded slowly. That is power. True power. Not the ability to destroy, but the choice not to. Captain Hyunsu's voice came over the channel. What do we tell the High Command? We tell them the truth, Yuna said. She sat up straighter in her chair, and Daeho saw something new in her eyes. Not defeat. Understanding. We tell them that we found humanity, and humanity is so far beyond us that we look like insects in comparison. We tell them that the humans gave us every chance to leave peacefully, and when we refused, they still showed mercy. The High Command will call us cowards, Minho said. His ship had somehow managed to fly back from Jupiter, though Daeho suspected the humans had simply moved them back. They will execute us for failing to take Earth. Then they will execute us, Yuna replied. But they will know the truth. They will know what lives here. And perhaps in time they will understand what we learned today. Minji had been quiet, studying all the data they had collected. Now she spoke up. We have sensor logs of everything that happened. The disarming of our fleet, the movement of ships across space, the sun pulse. If we share this data with the Galactic Council, they will have to believe us. Will they? Captain Hyunsu asked. Or will they think we are trying to hide a defeat with elaborate lies? Jiwon looked up from her console. Director Sujin is broadcasting on all frequencies now. She is sending a message to the entire galaxy. The message was simple. It played in every language on every channel, reaching every corner of known space. This is Earth. We are here. We have always been here. We left the galaxy alone so we could grow and change. That change is complete. We are returning to galactic society, but we return with a message. No more wars of conquest. No more genocide. No more extinction events. Police yourselves with wisdom, or we will police you with power. This is not a threat. This is a promise. We do not want to rule you. We want to help you, but we will not allow you to destroy yourselves or each other. Choose peace. Choose growth. Choose wisdom. This is humanity's final message. We hope you listen. The transmission ended. The Vrin fleet sat in silence, processing what they had witnessed. Daeho thought about the empty colonies, the warnings they had ignored, the mercy they had been shown despite their aggression. Humanity had left to become gods. And they had returned as guardians. The question now was whether the galaxy would accept that guardianship or fight against it. Daeho suspected the answer would determine the future of every species among the stars. 3 months had passed since the incident at Earth. 3 months since the Vrin fleet had limped home with their weapons gone and their pride shattered. 3 months since humanity had announced their return to the galaxy. The Galactic Council chamber was in chaos. Daeho stood at attention in the witness section, watching as representatives from 43 species shouted at each other. Some demanded immediate military action against Earth. Others called for diplomacy. Most simply looked terrified. Admiral Yuna stood at the central podium, delivering her testimony for the 3rd day in a row. She had aged in the months since Earth. Her hair had gone gray at the temples. Lines had appeared around her eyes. But she stood straight and spoke clearly. They could have killed us all, she said, her voice carrying across the chamber. Every sensor reading, every analysis, every piece of data confirms it. They had the power to erase our entire fleet from existence. They chose mercy. They chose to show us the truth without shedding a drop of blood. Counselor Sora from the Vrin delegation stood and spoke. The Admiral is correct. I have reviewed all evidence personally. Humanity's technology is so far advanced beyond our own that comparison is meaningless. They are to us as we are to pre-industrial civilizations. Then we must destroy them before they destroy us, shouted a representative from the Talvek Union. We must unite our forces and strike now while we still can. Minji stepped forward to speak. She had been appointed as the Council's official liaison to humanity, though many opposed the choice. You cannot destroy them. You do not understand what they have become. They exist partially outside our reality. They can manipulate space-time, matter and energy at fundamental levels. Any attack would be futile. Then what do we do? Asked a counselor from the Narathi collective. Accept their demands? Live under their rule? They do not want to rule you, Minji said patiently. They want you to stop killing each other. Is that truly so terrible? The chamber erupted in arguments again. Teho listened to it all and felt a deep weariness. The council had spent 3 months arguing while the evidence sat before them. 3 months of pride and fear overcoming logic. Then the chamber doors opened and silence fell like a curtain. Director Sujin walked into the room. She did not look threatening. She appeared as a simple human woman in plain clothing, but everyone in the chamber could feel the weight of her presence. It was like standing near a black hole, feeling the pull of something vast and inexorable. She walked calmly to the center of the chamber. Space seemed to bend around her, making distances meaningless. One moment she was at the door, the next she stood at the podium though no one had seen her move. I am Sujin, she said. I speak for humanity. The chamber remained silent. What could they say to something that could move stars? I came in person because you deserve to see what we are, Sujin continued. You deserve to understand that we are still human. We still remember being like you. We remember fear and hope, war and peace. We remember being weak and becoming strong. She looked around the chamber, making eye contact with each representative. You think we want to control you, we do not. We want to help you avoid the mistakes we made. Humanity spent thousands of years at war. We killed billions of our own people in conflicts over resources, territory, and ideology. We nearly destroyed ourselves many times, but we learned. We grew. We chose to become something better. And when we achieved the power to transcend our biological limitations, we made a choice. We could have used that power to conquer. We could have spread across the galaxy, claiming everything we touched. Instead, we left. We removed ourselves so we would not accidentally harm others during our transformation. Counselor from the Vrin delegation spoke up. But you have returned, why? Because the galaxy needs someone to set boundaries, Sujin said. We have monitored your activities throughout our isolation. In the past century alone, 17 species have been driven to extinction by wars of conquest. 4 planets have been rendered lifeless. Billions have died in conflicts that served only pride and greed. We cannot stand by and watch anymore. So we return with an ultimatum. Stop the genocides. Stop the extinction wars. Stop treating other species as resources to be exploited. Govern yourselves with wisdom or we will govern you. The Talvek representative stood, trembling with rage. You cannot dictate to us. We are sovereign peoples. We have rights. You have rights, Sujin agreed. But your rights end where others' lives begin. We will not allow you to commit genocide simply because it is convenient. We will not permit extinction events because you want territory. And if we refuse, the Talvek demanded, will you destroy us? No, Sujin said simply. We will stop you, gently, precisely. Just as we stopped the Vrin fleet. If you attempt genocide, we will relocate your military forces. If you launch weapons, we will render them inert. If you try to harm the innocent, we will prevent it. We will not kill you, but we will not allow you to kill others. She paused, letting her words sink in. We are not conquerors. We are guardians. There is a difference. A counselor from the Meridian Confederacy stood. How long will this guardianship last? Forever? Until you no longer need it, Sujin replied. We hope that day comes soon. We hope you will learn to police yourselves, to resolve conflicts without violence, to treat all life as precious. When you reach that point, we will step back. But until then, we watch. The chamber fell into a heavy silence. Teho could see the calculations happening behind every representative's eyes. Could they accept this? Could they live under the watchful gaze of humanity? Finally, Counselor Sora spoke. I call for a vote. The choice before us is simple. Accept humanity's terms and commit to peace, or reject them and face the consequences. I vote to accept. One by one, other counselors voted. Some voted quickly, accepting the inevitable. Others hesitated, their pride warring with their survival instinct. But in the end, the vote was clear. 31 species voted to accept. 12 voted to reject. The measure passes, the council speaker announced. A new charter will be drafted, banning wars of conquest and establishing enforcement protocols. Sujin nodded. Thank you. We know this is difficult. Change always is, but we believe in you. We believe every species here is capable of wisdom, given the right guidance. She turned to leave, then paused. One final message. We are not your enemies. We are not your rulers. We are your distant cousins who found a way forward. We want you to find your own way. But we will ensure that path does not lead through genocide and extinction. She walked toward the door, and again space bent around her. One moment she was there, the next she was gone. The council chamber erupted in discussion. Plans were made. Treaties were drafted. The galaxy began the slow process of changing. Deho stood with Minji, watching it all unfold. "Do you think it will work?" he asked. Minji smiled sadly. "Some will accept it. Some will fight it. But they will learn. Humanity will make sure of it." Above them, visible through the chamber's transparent dome, Earth's moon hung in the distant sky. Even from light years away, even disguised as a simple celestial body, it served as a constant reminder. Someone was watching. Someone was waiting. Someone who could move planets and touch stars had decided that the galaxy deserved better than endless war. And whether the galaxy liked it or not, that someone would ensure they achieved it.